Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen and welcome to Ignite. So as always, let's start with the scoreboard. After we met on Jitsi on Wednesday, Charlotte has 56 points. You are beginning to go off the end of the scoreboard, Charlotte. We're going to have to start a second row for you. And Nathan, you have 55, so still neck and neck, these two. Joshua, Andrew, the rest of you guys, you can still get points up there. Just get in touch with me and I'll see what I can do. And if you can make it to the next Jitsi meeting, there are points there for the games that we do. This week, we didn't get a crazy fact in our WhatsApp Bible reading group because I took James back, and the area that he lives in Wales, there seriously is very little phone signal or Wi-Fi or anything, so I couldn't get the messages through to you. Not to worry, I think we'll probably squeeze 2 crazy facts into the messages this week. I'll see how it goes and I'll let you know as I'm messaging you. So on Wednesday, we came up with some ideas of things that you can be doing to keep you interested, new things to try. Admittedly, some of them are things that we've said before, but hey, there are only so many things you can be trying out. And if you didn't try them then, why not try them now? So one of the guys was talking about playing Xbox or console games with friends, has done that quite a lot recently, hadn't done it much up until now, but has really enjoyed it as a way of getting in touch with friends again. So that's a really good thing to try out. What about baking? I love a bit of baking. My guys have been baking pretty much right throughout the whole lockdown and COVID-19 crisis. Go for it. I can't recommend it more. Den building, what a great idea. I know we talked about this early in lockdown because we talked about building dens in your living room, doing it inside, but you can also build outside. The weather's much better now. See what you're able to do, talk to your parents. Lots of really good skills to learn there if you're going to be building a den. So great thing to try. The other thing that came up this week, really great idea. Why not go out once it gets dark? Okay, it's getting dark a bit late in the night these days, but once it gets dark, go out and have a look at the sky and have a look at the stars. Cloudy nights are not going to work, okay? But on a clear night, have a look. Recently, there's been an amazing comet in the sky. We had a look at that. It was just a fantastic view. All we used was binoculars and got a great view of the tail of the comet, which was fantastic to see. Also, a lot of the planets have been around. Jupiter and Saturn are still in the sky. I think Mars is around too. Venus certainly is. Really good idea. Go and have a look. See what you can find. See what you can see. Even see what you can see from your bedroom window. So the other ideas are ideas of how to help others. And we've been doing that right throughout this whole crisis. And one of them was just a simple one. It was just like our basic random acts of kindness. Just help people when and where you can. One of the young people had been out walking a dog and somebody in front of them had dropped a toy or something, a dog toy, and they just gave it back, just called the person back and gave them it back. We were out for a walk recently and a family in front of us had left a little child's jacket behind, and we did the same thing. Just shouted them and they came back for it. So great ideas, just where you can help, guys, whether you're at home or whether you're out, just go for it. Keep it at the forefront of your mind. Obviously, keep within restrictions. Don't go within 2 meters of people and don't pick things up that belong to others, but you can call them, can't you? Another good idea was going shopping. Go shopping for your parents. If you can go out to the shop, remember your face masks. Now we're going to need face masks everywhere from when you see this video. But yeah, why not go and do a bit of shopping? Help your parents out. Or if there's some shopping you can get for a neighbour or somebody like that, if you can do it all safely, why not do that? It's a great idea. So the worship song today is one actually that my daughter Hannah's been playing quite a lot, and I really enjoy it too. It's a Hillsong song called New Wine, and it fits really well with part 2 of the word that I've been sharing with you. We started last week and we're talking about growing up. You know, we all have to grow up from children to adults, and we need to grow up spiritually too. So this is going to be coming up, part 2 of what I've been sharing. And next week we'll be having part 3. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that, and I will see you again next week. Bye. Another great thing to be doing is to be listening to the teachers who are around you. So who are they? Your parents, even your siblings. Oh my gosh, could your brothers and sisters teach you something? Yes, they could. Could you teach them something? Yes, you could. Your friends, they can teach you too. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can still be a teacher. I remember plenty of times it was often at tea time, we'd be sat round the tea table just enjoying a nice family meal, and then one of my kids, I've often the same one, would suddenly come out with some amazing question about God, or just something God had spoken to him, some revelation, and I could go nearly choking and go, wow, that's amazing. Okay, let's see if I can answer that. Let's have a think about that. It doesn't matter how old you are. God can still talk to you, and he can give you great words. So yeah, don't be afraid to teach, because you can do it. It's not a preach, it's just a chat. It's fine. You could go find some teaching online. We've talked about that in the past. Where are you at the moment? Where is God taking you? Go and have a Google, have a look around some online church times and see if you can find some teaching on that. There's plenty out there. We've mentioned before, Soul Survivor, Bethel, Hillsong. There are a lot of churches online at the moment. Check out, it's a good place to go. Ask your parents or check with somebody. It's a good teaching to listen to. But there's so much available right now. It's fantastic. And then there are some festivals coming up online, which I really, really recommend you go and take a look at. Just have a peek at some of the things that's going on. So Creation Fest, I think, is online next week. We'll put the dates up around me here somewhere, and the information will be there. New Wine are doing some stuff. I think it's called Luminosity. Go and check theirs out as well. We have an amazing opportunity this year to just take part in so many different things because we can do it online. So go have a look. See if God speaks to you through them. What about trying something new? You could grow spiritually at the moment by trying something new. If you're good at art, why not just spend some time with God, see what pictures he gives you, and draw something. Draw what he's giving you. You could listen to some worship music, see what pictures, what thoughts that gives you, and either write something about it or, again, draw a picture. Find a new devotional online. There are tons of devotionals. Find one that you like. Give it a go. Try reading something every day or listening to it. What about worship music? Do you struggle with worship? Well, what about if you put it on as you went to sleep at night? I do that quite a lot. Find some quieter songs. Just put them on as you go to sleep. See what that does. Get into that habit. What a good thing to be doing. Here's another idea. What about taking a Bible verse a day and trying to live that out? Okay, you have lots to choose from. You could Google some. I'm sure that lots of the backs of our Bibles have sort of standout verses listed. You could choose them. See if you can be patient. See if you can be kind. See if you can be full of joy. See if you can help your neighbour. See what verses are there and how you could do that. That is a great thing to try and do. Jesus got his strength from spending time with God. As you know, he went away a lot to be on his own, to have that time with God. And that's what we need to do too, isn't it? He went away after he was baptized. He went into the desert. He went away to Gethsemane to pray on his own, right before the cross, right before he was arrested. In Luke 5:16, it says, "But Jesus often slipped away from them and went into the wilderness to pray." We'll grow spiritually, we'll grow up as we spend time alone with God. What does that look like for you? What could that look like for you? What do you think? For me, it's walking. You know, I've talked about my walks with God before, and that is where I find God, just my time to be alone with him. Actually, I found it quite frustrating during lockdown that when I go for a walk, very often there are lots of other people around that there aren't usually. But we all have to get used to these things, and it's still my time with God. I mentioned before about persevering, and when I have my walks with God, when I have those moments, I don't want to let them go until I've just had that time when I feel that that's the right time to stop, the time to go back. Sometimes I go with questions, and sometimes I need those answers, or I need the beginning of those answers in that time. Sometimes, or more often, I go just to say thank you to God, just to praise him, just to worship him, just to chat with him as a friend. He's my friend. And friendship grows as you spend more time with somebody. So you need to be alone with them. It's all about relationship. But whatever, I don't want to let that moment go. And I'll persevere in that moment. More than once I've said, I'm not going, Lord. I'm not stopping this walk. I'm not going home until we've talked more, until I've heard from you more. Very often these words I get when I'm out walking with God. And if I don't, I generally have to go for a walk just to run it through with him, just to process it with him. We get our answers in our secret places with God. It's very often it's when we're alone, whether it's because we're out with him, because we're worshipping, because we're reading our Bibles. Very often he gives us our answers when we're alone. We can get them in the middle of a festival. We can get them in the middle of a conference or a preach with people all around us. But more often than not, your answers come from that secret place, and you'll have to take those answers away, and you need to process them a bit, and you might have to go talk to somebody about them. But it starts there. If you remember my story of walking in the snow, that was the beginning of God dealing with all of my fear that just shouldn't have been there in my life. But it happened, the beginning of it happened when I was out on my own with him. Again, it's really good to get into a habit, into a routine. Get some repetition with this. This is how you grow. I can think of lots of examples of people just getting these routines and getting these habits going. I know there's one young person I know who very often carried a Bible in school, out of school, whatever. I think it was quite a small one. And when time came for them to take their exams, before the exams, very often you all get time to just go to the toilet before you go in for an exam. And they would go into the toilet, get the Bible out, go to the loo, but read some of their Bible. It was a habit they got into. It was just a moment with God. And those times do not have to be long, okay? I think it was Susanna Wesley who used to just have 10 minutes. She had lots and lots of children, and she would just literally sit with her apron over her head, because it was many, many years ago when we wore those long aprons, and she would just have 10 minutes with God. And she could do it right there and right then with the kids all around her. You can start from 10 minutes, and I bet your time with God will grow. I bet it will, because you'll be growing in friendship with him. You'll be growing in relationship with him, and you won't want to leave. That's the way it gets. Just give him some time. You give your friends time, give him some time, and you will grow. Philippians 4:12-13 from the Passion Version says, I know what it means to lack, and I know what it means to experience overwhelming abundance. For I'm trained in the secret of overcoming all things, whether in fullness or in hunger. And I find that the strength of Christ's explosive power infuses me to conquer every difficulty. Wow, what a verse is that? I'm going to read it again. I know what it means to lack, and I know what it means to experience overwhelming abundance. For I'm trained in the secret of overcoming all things, whether in fullness or in hunger. And I find that the strength of Christ's explosive power infuses me to conquer every difficulty. That was Paul writing that. He'd grown up in God. He didn't even start growing up spiritually until he was, well into his adult life. And that's fine. We're growing spiritually all the time.